The town of Hopkinton hosted a special town meeting this past Monday. Town clerk Connor Deegan filled in as moderator. The big topic was to approve a new Elmwood school.
Small groups of children who are being supported in reading or mathematics. Some kids were getting specially designed instruction. Students could come out of multiple classrooms and work collaboratively on a project. There could be extension activities in those places. It really does allow for the elasticity that we need in making sure that our kids are getting what they need, not just for today, but to make them appropriate learners and workers in a 21st century environment.
So all told, on the right-hand side, you'll see that we were able to cut over $15.5 million from that initial budget. The last line shows the potential maximum reimbursement from the MSBA. That has gone from just under $45 million back in March to now more than $61 million. That's an additional $16.6 million we've received, and that's going to go a long way to lessening the burden for taxpayers should this be approved.
One, I think, really big piece that I want to call out again is that if this project does not pass, the sixth grade will remain in this building, which will create capacity issues in both the middle school and then the ability to use both the middle school to help alleviate some of the high school things. So that at the school committee, we were able to remove some of our capital warrant items, things that had been part of our 5-year plan, because with a 2-3-4 school, it allows increased capacity at multiple buildings, but it also allowed for things like traffic patterns and relocating of the tennis courts to not be needed in the 5-year capital plan either.
The article passed the 2/3 majority, 622 to 241. The article will now go to special town election. Article 2 would eliminate political caucuses from town election ballots and get rid of caucus nominations.
What you see here in that, especially in 2016, is a fairly even distribution of candidates on the ballot. But if you move to 2017, you'll find that the distribution is skewed somewhat. It was not coincidental that that was the year after Donald Trump was elected. Now there was a pretty large increase in the number of caucus only, and you can see that trend also as it goes on from 2018, 2019, 2020, and 2021.
Executive Office of Bergamo had to swear an oath, which I will thankfully edit to a key and most pertinent passage for tonight. All of the officers and honors of the city of Bergamo should be chosen in the interest of the community and not by reason of any party or parties. That was 800 years ago.
I do not believe that someone is more qualified for a Hopkinton office merely because they caucus with a political party, as the current voting system for ballot signatures indicates. I also do not think that someone should need to identify their stance on abortion to be able to serve on the Conservation Commission, or their position on the defense budget to be able to serve on school committee. Partisanship already defines our politics online, in our houses, and amongst our neighbors. We all have relationships with other people that have been in some way damaged or threatened by partisan politics, especially with the rise of social media. Eliminating partisan advantages will not get rid of political parties. They will always be a part of our political system, locally and nationally. Rather, it will send a message that, first and foremost, we are Hopkintonians, and that we can resist the hatred, fear, and division that threatens to further divide our community.
Showed that it's a good thing to have caucuses in town because it increases participation in the democratic process. What happened after 2016, was a good thing for local government. It got people involved. It got people to focus on local issues. So I'm standing up here to say that I would vote against this motion. I wholeheartedly support what Mr. Weissmantel said and the form that Ms. Groves handed out on the way in.
After much deliberation, the article passed the required majority by 31 votes. 245 to 214.
And the motion passes 245 to 214. Simple majority.
Article 3 looked to add regulations to the energy code for new buildings.
To give you context on our road to net zero, in a typical Massachusetts home, 80% of energy use comes from the heating and cooling of air and the heating of water, often by burning oil and gas. The specialized code will help prevent us from adding to that deficit by preparing new construction for electrification and help get us to net zero faster by ensuring new construction does not contribute excessive emissions in the future. To be clear, the specialized code does not ban the usage of fossil fuels in new construction, but it does require that new buildings are prepared for the electric transition.
The article failed 121 to 216. Article 4 was recommended to take no action, and that passed 271 to 30. That wrapped up the November 13th special town meeting.